Hello, everybody. My name is Stacy Brioka, and I am known as the technology therapist and squirrel wrangler. You're like, what in the world is a technology therapist? Well, it happens that I don't just play a therapist on TV. I actually have been a therapist for over 25 years now. Oh my gosh. I also am a geek girl of over 40 years, with my first computer being a Commodore 64 in the late 70s. Yes, I just aged myself. Um, but I combine those tricks, those things, along with my background in public health. So I have a degree in clinical social work, or in mental health and social work. I also have a degree in public health, and I combine those things to help people find and balance their life formula so that they can have sustained passion, profit, and peace. You know, let's face it, if anything else, the last couple of years has taught us that stress is not only real, but it has huge impacts on our life. And we've got to talk about it in order to deal with that. If we don't talk about it, we're not going to deal with it. And if we don't deal with it, it literally could be more of our undoing than COVID itself. So, let's talk about that stress for a minute. That stress has actually caused what they're calling the quit revolution. And that quit revolution, part of the reason for it is not having the balance that we need in our lives. And I believe there are 9 different arenas that stress and various other things have impacted our lives in. And that there's a formula with those 9 arenas that, if put together well, and if we balance it, we actually can live in more of a sustained, peaceful way. So, a technology therapist, I use my background, I use the formula, and I help people use productivity hacks and technology and the formula to get more done in their day. But it's with the goal of having more time to take care of themselves, to have more self-care, and above all, to build human relationships. Because again, after these last couple of years, we've figured out that not being around each other, not being able to be around each other in the way we were used to, is damaging to our health and to a variety of other societal threads. There are children who were born right before in the pandemic who are in the midst of their formative socialization years, who don't realize that you could interact with people without masks on, or that you don't have to necessarily worry about there being a disease out there called COVID. And so, those are just a couple of the things that impact us. So I want people to be able to have more time to build the relationships, whether that's building them on a video screen so that when we can get back to each other and hug each other. But also just to be able to, for kids even who aren't used to the same socialization, that they learn how to build relationships as well if they have to do this in a sustained longer term pattern. I think, as we know from multiple world events over the years, life does not, quote unquote, ever go back to normal. Life didn't go, quote unquote, back to normal after the civil rights movement. It didn't go back to normal after Vietnam. It did not go back to normal after we went to the moon. It did not go back to normal after the Challenger exploded. What we go back to is not really a back, it's a forward. We go to the next place. And one thing I know after 25 years is humans, we're finicky this way. We want the impact of the change. We want the progressive, we want the positive, we want the being better. But oh my God, ask us to change? Oh no. We don't want that business. We do not want that. So we want the outcome of the change, but we do not want to change ourselves. And the fact of the matter is we have to. It's vital. That's how we move forward in life. And moving forward in life is, well, I just watched a documentary on a very well-known personal development specialist. And one of the things he says is, if you're stuck in your head, you're dead. Stay stuck in your head and you're dead. And that really hits home. If you stay stuck in the one place and you don't change, you don't embrace that forward motion, you might as well go ahead and go, because it's not life. It really is death. So technology therapist is it began as a fun title, but really I embrace it. I help people with the formula, and those are some of the things I'm going to be talking about here on Wisdom, as well as on my podcast. I also have an app by the name of Technology Therapist. You can search the App Store for Technology Therapist and find me. And then I have a podcast of the same name, Technology Therapist, which you can access on the app or search the wherever you get your podcasts and find me. I will say there are only 3 little bitty podcasts up so far, but I'm going to be ramping that up to ask other people to join me on that podcast. So there's you can find out how to do that using my app. Although right now, I think I'm actually going to ask for guests to potentially join if I can get this. If there's anybody out there who wants to potentially join me and talk about their experiences in COVID, changes, the positive things, the positive changes that they see, that to me, I see them as gifts of COVID. I think the changes that we are making and have made and will be making are all gifts for our future. And I, I think the best way that we can all do that is to collaborate with each other, work with each other, and create the new that we are going to, quote unquote, go back to. We're already in it, folks. We're not going backward anywhere. We're going forward. You got to go forward to live. So I see that there are 20 people here listening. I see Tiff with the pink bubbles. Tiff, you were in the room I was just in a while ago. I loved what you had said. What you said in there, and you were with Sue, and you hyped her up, and then suggested that it's funny that you guys were talking about doing an intro talk. I think it was you, or may have been one other person who was in there with her. You guys were talking about doing an intro talk, and it was funny because that was exactly my first thought when I came over here was, okay, what am I need to do an intro talk. And so this is my intro talk. And, so people can know who I am and know a little bit about what I do. But I would love to hear from the people who are in the room what you do, what cued you you know, made you click in and join this room. I'd love to hear. So uh, I'm kind of waiting for anybody who wants to step up on the stage and we can have a chat. Yay! Got somebody waiting on now. Oh, Greg Sloan, the Purpose Mentor. I love it. Greg, your note saying the Purpose Mentor, purpose is actually a part of it fits in the formula. So I don't know. I think this. Oh, okay. I thought you had yourself muted, maybe. So yeah,
Yeah,
purpose is actually part of my formula that I teach. In some regards, it's one of the 9
yeah,
arenas is life's passion or purpose.
yeah. So sorry about that. The app glitched up on me as soon as the mic clicked down to 0. It kicked me out. I had to actually
Oh no,
circle back around. So there's still some glitches in there, and
it's technology. There's going to be glitches. That's the fun part.
yeah.
To me, it's fun.
Well,
I'm weird.
this is only
I'm
my
weird.
day 2. I don't know if you've been here for a week or 6 days.
Uh, Try less than 24 hours, but
Okay,
yeah.
yep. So
hmm
we're
I
all
figured
we're
I'd
all.
jump in.
I did the same. I recorded a couple of talks, and then did one where it didn't seem to be engaging. So we're all learning.
hmm
So, who is the tech? Who is this technology therapist? Is that referring to you?
It's referring to me. Yeah, it's
Got
when
it. Got
people say, well, they usually say, "What is a technology therapist?" But I worded this "who is" because you may have come in after I already described some of it, but I wanted to have like an introduction talk
it.
that people could listen to at least the beginning of and know who I am and what I do. Um,
Totally.
so I am known as the technology therapist and squirrel wrangler.
Okay.
And it is because in fact I am a therapist. I don't just play one on Wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a clinical social work degree as well as a public health degree, and then I've been a geek girl for longer time than that. I don't remember a time that I was not infatuated with, enamored by, love. I could see the function and vision of pieces of technology long before anybody else could.
Right.
Like I could look at it and go, "Ooh, that's going to help us do this." 5-10 years from now. Now,
Right.
of course, I didn't realize that was what I was doing until I got a lot older. But I've put them all together, and people started calling me the technology therapist. So,
So, just what's interesting to me about that is a lot of times you'll hear, of course, therapy is about dealing with past issues, whereas what you sort of described is sort of more of a visionary where you're seeing ahead of what's coming. Is that
yes, which you nailed the struggle I had with the title from the get, because I am in fact a therapist and I deal with past issues with people in
right?
therapy. And
Right.
what I, in fact, do in my business is on the coaching side, which is forward thinking.
Right.
I use the same skill set. And I do use the same skill set all the way across the board. Um, I use that same skill set that I would if somebody came and asked if they had depression.
Yep.
If they walk in and say, I am frustrated as hell with technology and I don't know what to do with this, this, and this. So I use the exact same process. I just apply it differently. It's forward thinking. So I had to chew on the title for a long time before technology coaching doesn't come off the tongue and sound as cool or
Right.
whatever is. So I finally embraced it, but it is with the disclaimer of when I work with people, that is not in fact therapy, and I will get them to a therapist if that is what they need.
Well, but
Uh,
it's good branding, right? I mean, at the end of the
it's
day,
At the end of
um,
the day, that was what happened. It was the branding. And I
yeah.
now wish I had not marked my thing to have 5 minutes, because I want more than 5 minutes with you. So
So
I
when
don't
the
know how to
timer,
change that
yeah. So what I can do is I can just leave the room, or I'm sorry,
and come
leave the
back.
stage, come right back, and you just accept me again, and then I can share where you need to set the default. So let me leave and come back.
I know where to set the defaults. I just
Okay.
apparently I set it too low.
Yeah. Oh, I got you. All right.
Yeah.
So I'll leave the stage and come back. So, and
There we go.
I'm just looking at your audience. You got Chris Bivens and Priscilla, two of the visionaries and the early adopters, and great minds that are getting this app out. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
listening
Thank
in.
you guys for coming by. I feel super honored. Um,
Well,
yeah. Wow. That kind of
so
took my breath away a little. This is my first talk.
this is or is not is your first
Is
talk?
it's my very first. It's not my first time talking, but it is my
Right, right.
first talk myself.
So,
Uh,
so come back to the technology therapist. You described depression and frustration, which are words obviously used in clinical therapy. I'm not a therapist, but I know those are terms that are used. And
mhm.
but I can also imagine how that relates to technology, because as one who is not a digital native, I'm 52 years old, so we grew up in that era where we had to learn technology over the years, and love it when it works, hate it when it doesn't. So,
Okay, but I'm going to challenge you about
yeah,
something there. Is that okay?
sure, absolutely.
I turned 53 on Thursday.
Okay. So,
So now I realize when we were growing up, I was an enigma in that regard,
right.
and probably am still, just in that. I was one of the early adopters at the time.
Yeah.
My first computer was a Commodore 64 in the late 70s,
Yeah.
and yeah, it is. But you're right. I remember when our family got their first VCR,
Yeah.
when we got our first microwave, when we got when CD players versus cassette tapes,
Yeah.
or we still in this house actually have 8-track tapes somewhere in the house.
For nostalgia,
And I believe
right?
there's a reel there was a reel to reel up until not long ago, and so yeah,
Yeah.
I most definitely. But I've always been enamored by the seeing, hey, here's this Commodore 64. This is what this is going to, this is going to be the future. And here are some of the things we're going to be able to do with it. Here's I don't know if you remember an app called Blab about 6 years ago.
I do not.
Okay, there was an app called a website called blab.im.
Okay.
And it was like those of us who were there, it was a very magical time because we knew that was the future of how we were all going to communicate. Had no clue, of course, that a pandemic was coming.
Right.
I mean, that wasn't even the why.
So then, give me your prognostication about voice tech.
You know, at first I was kind of like, what do we need this for? We've got video. Why do we want just voice?
Right.
And uh, the more I've come to using it, I think one of the first ones was probably Anchor. Anchor was maybe one of the first ones out there. There may have been a couple others, but I have come to appreciate it, and especially in the fact that it makes it a little more freedom and flexibility to jump on, even if you're not, let's say you've got a bad hair day, or
Yeah.
are not in a place where you want to show your background, but you do want to, I think do think it has a place. And of course, podcasting has shown us that audio representations of ourselves is meaningful.
Well, if you look at my photo, you can see I don't have any bad hair days.
Well, I don't know.
But,
You know, because you kind of got a really cool looking, like a little bit of black in the middle with the gray on the sides there on the beard.
well, that's true. I do have the
So
goatee,
it's not really
the bad
a
goatee.
bad look there. I've got gray and, well, mine's not blue at the moment, but yeah, I've got the gray and black going on now.
Well, I love what you're doing. I actually realized I didn't follow you until just a minute. I would love to know, how do you pronounce your last name? Because I tried that, and but
It's pronounced, the first A is kind of silent, so it's Bryuka.
Brayuka,
And
German.
that's Trieste, Italy.
Oh, interesting.
My father-in-law came from Trieste, Italy when he was young.
Well, it's been one.
Thank you so much, Greg. I really appreciate that, and I want to follow you so that I can find out more about the Purpose Mentor. And I'm gonna Lakeisha, how you doing? What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you too. I like your purplish blue hair. I love it. Is it purple or
Thank
blue? I just
you.
want to make sure.
I think that particular it was blue, but it ended up coming out a little purpley. It depended on the light.
Yes,
Now
I love it.
it's more of a sapphire or like a dark, like a blue black now.
Ooh, feisty. I
So
love it. Yes. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay. Well, thank you for having me on
So
stage. I did have a question. What is a
yeah.
technology therapist?
Well,
I was like,
that's
this sounds like my type of girl, but go ahead.
yeah. So I'm a clinical social worker, public health educator, and geek girl, all rolled
Ooh,
into one. I help
okay.
people deal with. I help them. I have a formula that I help people unearth and balance so that they can get more done, so that they can do more of the things they love. So I use my therapy skills to help them with their um, productivity, their self care, their balance, their sleep. There are 9 different arenas that I work with them on, so that they can get more done. But the ultimate goal is so they can do more of what they love.
Love it. Okay, okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, do you have like a consistent what is it, like a coaching session that you do with people, or is it like more of a mentor or
Yeah,
kind of thing?
I have multiple programs. I have actually I have some workshops coming up, that'll be up on, that I'm going to have that I'll be posting about, that are like 3-hour workshops. And then I have a 6-week course coming up.
Ooh,
And then I have a 4-month one-on-one coaching program for those who want to dive right in. It's actually
okay.
one-on-one because when we really get to unearthing that, um, I want people to have a safe environment one-on-one with me, so that if they bring things up that are uncomfortable or challenging, that they're in a safe place, as opposed to being with a group that may or may not feel safe to them. The group might be safe, but it may not feel safe to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's intriguing. Is
Yeah.
any of that connected to your bio on, say, for instance, Clubhouse or Instagram or anything along that line?
Actually, all of it is connected in my app, and the app's called
Okay.
Technology Therapist. Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
you can
okay.
look up the app on either of the app stores. And then I have a podcast that it only has a couple of little bitty episodes up so far, but I have a podcast that is of the same name, Technology Therapist. And then the
Okay, beautiful.
program is
I
Find
would
Your
definitely have
Formula.
to look. Ooh,
Yeah,
nice. I'm
yeah, I
excited.
look forward to connecting. You can connect with me
Yeah.
on. I've got all my different things in my profile to connect with also. So feel
Okay.
free to connect with me anywhere and reach out and let's chat.
I love it. I love it. Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
what do you do,
Okay.
Lakeisha?
I am a VA agency owner and I help health and wellness service providers manage their social media, their admin work, website, and
Ah,
much more. So I was like, technology therapist. This sounds like somebody who unpacks the inside of you and makes it pretty again. I don't know how to
uh-huh.
explain it, but I was like, I think that's what she's going to
That's
say.
that's a
Let me
good way
see.
to explain. It's a good way to explain part of it. Yeah, and actually, it's interesting that you're doing VA work. One of the pieces of my formula is delegation. That's one of
Oh, beautiful.
the
Maybe we can connect.
I was going to say, go ahead. One of my best friends is a VA agency owner. I actually used to own a technology VA agency until recently, and I decided to focus more on my coaching. So, um, yeah.
Ooh, yes. Okay, okay. So I love the fact that I love collaboration, and I've
Uh
only
huh.
been using this app for technically 3 days, and it's fun. It's something new
It
that
is.
I
I've
enjoy.
actually been here technically less than 24 hours.
Oh, well,
I joined last.
congratulations.
I joined last night. I jumped in Sue Zimmerman's talk a little couple hours ago and chatted with her for a few minutes. Then I finished my profile and decided to jump in and do a signature talk so that people would know who I am and what in the world is a technology therapist. So thank you, Lakeisha. I look forward to um, getting to know you more. So 56 people. I really appreciate. I'm going to click through actually and follow many of you so that I can find out more about you. Please feel free to follow me, get my app. Like I said, it's in the app stores at Technology Therapist. And I would love to hear feedback. The app has lots of different pieces and parts about the 9 arenas in our life that we need to balance in our life formula so that we can do more of what we love. So that's what I'm all about, and I want to help as many people balance their lives as possible. So I cannot believe how many people have come over here. I love the name Cupcake Cupcake. My best friend owns a gluten-free bakery, so cupcakes are kind of dear to my heart also. Uh, so thank you guys all for coming by. And I actually am probably going to end this talk because I have another uh, engagement to go to fairly soon. But feel free to reach out and let me know what you think. Have a great one.